Welcome back to FlowState. Welcome back to another fucking awesome week here on planet Earth. This week, Commencement. Thank you so much to everyone who dropped in yesterday for Thursday Live, Optimization and Refinement, pillar number 7. This week, we embark on pillar number 8, Commencement. Welcome. You have done it across this 8-week journey of the Growth Blueprint curriculum. Drop in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you have specific questions you want answered live on FlowState, drop them in the comment. Let's get into it. First of all, I think it's safe to say at this point, we have finally crossed a threshold. We're getting hate. We're getting hate. And it was only a matter of time before people would stop playing nice and the trolls would come out to play. And I feel like it's a moment of celebration because just like when people start copying people, artists, you have arrived to a certain place. And it's really kind of an amazing thing to have happen when people start disagreeing with you, when people challenge you, when people are venting because they're triggering themselves based on something you said. All of these things only happen at scale, or a larger scale than just a few hundred views or a few hundred followers. And so I'm really quite excited, actually. And my whole thing is like, well, it's an opportunity for a conversation. It's an opportunity to express what is alive in me relative to what the individuals are saying. Whether, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If it's something that I said that I actually don't agree with anymore and they're challenging me on that, I'll be the first person to change my perspective. I'm not married to my thoughts. I'm not married to my ideas. My ideas are not who I am, and they're not who you are either. Ideas are ephemeral things that are flowing through you like energy. And to associate yourself so deeply with a narrative, a way of thinking, really limits your capacity for growth. And that's what we do here. We push and challenge ourselves to live in discomfort, to become more resilient, to train our train our capacity. And that requires, at times, confrontation. Confrontation from ourselves, confrontation from other people, hopefully with a certain level of dignity and respect, because that's also, what I'm about here. I'm not about shaming anybody for saying some crazy ass shit. Everybody is coming to the table from their own unique perspective of reality and life. And it's one of the craziest things about existence. The reality of two people experiencing the same event could have two wildly different, I fucking did that last week too, that have two very different internal experiences. And it's something that we'll never be able to, as society, to have, let's say, a consistent experience of the same event. You and I could be in a car driving from one city to another. Time is relative. The experience of how that drive went is also relative to the individual. My experience is going to be unique to me. Yours is going to be unique to you. Even though we're in the same place, in the same car, quote unquote, experiencing the same reality, it's the way we interpret it that, oh yes, let's look at these beautiful flowers again. Gorgeous. And into the dark tunnel we go. It's a little bit drier this time. Oh shit. All right. Ooh. Da-da-da-da. Wow, so soupy. What is going on here? Okay, I made it. I made it. Here, let me flip the camera around so you can see it. Woo! And in we go. Ah. Man, this is really soupy, soupy, soupy. Oof. Ah. All right, got a little wet. It's all right. Whew. So, welcome to FlowState. Welcome to Everyday Action. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in for a little ride. FlowState is me turning on the camera. I'm anchored in our weekly content rhythm, as I mentioned at the beginning, Commencement. If you're not familiar, like, what is this guy talking about? Commencement. So, Commencement is the 8th pillar in the Growth Blueprint framework, the framework that we roll every week, the framework that I developed into a curriculum, or the framework that, or the idea that became the framework. And it's anchored in the one-on-one coaching, it's anchored in the weekly content, it's anchored in the self-paced Growth Blueprint course that's available on the website. And let me just pay attention here so I don't, a little slimy. All right. Man, it's growing. Super cool. So I'm going to roll through the curriculum so you have some understanding of what we're doing here, and most importantly, why. That is really at the, let's say, the foundation of everything is why. Get your why right, and everything else that comes after is so much easier. It's easier for you to be able to filter your thinking, to be able to filter your decision making, your choices, what you're willing to give up, and what you're willing to fight for. Without the why, it makes everything so much more complicated. It makes existence just a constant struggle. And we want to choose our struggle. We don't want it to be something that happens to us, right? Giving up autonomy over our life, giving up our capacity to be resourceful, giving up the direction in which we're looking to go, not as a reaction to circumstance. And we start by establishing awareness. Awareness is the first pillar. And it's more than awareness. It's about training the future capacity that will be needed in order to sustain growth. I have a master equation that I developed for this entire protocol. It's soul times structure equals sustainable growth. And sorry, I'm navigating, not falling down this cliff and holding a train of thought, which is always a challenge at this point, even though I've done this a bunch of times. I still don't really want to fall and fuck myself up. because then I wouldn't be able to have this amazing conversation with you. All right. Ooh, kind of high tide today. We'll just take a gorgeous view. There's still snow on Tay. Amazing view. Just take it in. Gorgeous. Sweet. Let me just get to this easier place, stopping point, before I really get into it. All right, almost down the hill, almost. It's so much easier when I'm not doing this, and for some reason the down is much more cognitively intensive than the up. The up is never a where do we go? We'll go over here. It's less of a challenge. And I much prefer the up. Anyways, going downhill is never really that fun. All right, so pillar number 1, assessment and readiness. Awareness, taking stock of where you are in your life. It's not about where you're looking to go. It's not about your past. It's not about creating something that isn't there. It's about taking a moment and getting clarity on where you are right now in your life. And we map out what's called your inner ecosystem, which are the interconnected areas of your life that, once you have clarity on, allows you to work from a basis of reality. So some of the things that we map: your health, your social connections, your spiritual growth, your work, your career, which ties into your contribution, your purpose. There's a lot going on there. And it's worth sitting in this process until you understand where you're starting from. Because you cannot change what you do not see. And this process allows you to see clearly into your life, into a way of thinking that has brought you to where you currently are right now. And without awareness, it makes everything much more complicated, and just you're shooting a bunch of shit on the wall and seeing what sticks. Like when you cook pasta. I don't know if you remember back in the day, I guess it's still something that happens. You're like, I wonder if this is ready. So you take a noodle and you throw it against the wall. If it sticks, it was deemed to be cooked. Not really an effective tool. But anyways, for our purpose, starting with assessment is the entry point into the Growth Blueprint curriculum, the framework. And again, it's not about bringing things from your past into the present, and it's definitely not about looking to the future for the things that you are looking to work towards. That comes later. And in the first 3 pillars of the Growth Blueprint, we're really becoming more aware of our current life, how we relate to all of the interconnected areas of the life that really dictate how we operate through it. After awareness and readiness, we go right into vitality. Vitality is, no, it's not luxury, okay? Vitality is a basic fundamental process in which you can create energy to sustain life. And there's all kinds of different lifestyles, but the one that I'm focused on promoting is the one that allows you to attack life like a general leading their army into battle. Not sitting comfortably in the back, but more like Napoleon style, like fucking let's go, you know? Because that is what life is. It's a constant battle between your internal process, your body, your mind, and the external world, right? Intrinsic regulation of state, and then extrinsic embodiment of how the intrinsic life is being represented in the world. Your social network, your thinking, your processing, your doing, your goals, etc. That is all metabolically expensive. And if you're sitting around all day, if you're not actively leveraging the components of vitality, which I'll get into in a second, you're living suboptimally. And I think people have been living so suboptimally for so long, they forgot what good even felt like or feels like in an active sense. And vitality addresses what I consider to be the basics of your biological needs. So sleep is number one. Sleep is the most important priority in vitality. Sleep is the magic pill, the quick fix, the thing that everybody knows they should be doing, but so few actually engage in a sustainable sleep practice, which is in itself a part of active recovery, which is different than rest. I see sleep as a necessary process that is extremely active, even though that you're laying flat and not moving. So sleep is number one. 6 to 9 hours of sleep every night, 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night is the range for most adults. If you're getting consistently less than 7 hours of sleep every night, you are not allowing your body to go through the cycles that are necessary for your body to repair itself, to process learning, emotional integration. Happens through the 6 cycles of sleep. And I can't stress this enough. The morning you want is built the night before. If you start going to bed at a consistent time, leveraging the 3-2-1 downshift, you're going to be able to accomplish your wildest dreams. I mean, literally anything you want. If there's one thing that you get right, you focus on sleep, it will change your life. You need enough time to let this settle, and I would recommend at least a month's worth of time of practicing this 3-2-1 downshift, which essentially is 3 hours before bed, no more food. 2 hours before bed, no more work. 1 hour before bed, no more stimulation. And if you can do this consistently, your life will change. I know that it's been something that I've used, especially at the beginning of the process that I went through to build out this curriculum, this journey that I went on over 9 years of personal growth and development, lived and tested, refined, grounded in neuroscience and modern behavioral change. This is where this comes from. This entire framework is grounded in that scientific collection of data. I mean, this is not just an opinion. It's based on other people's research and constructed in a way that is leverageable. It's something that I wish I had when I was younger. And right now, the feeling of being able to share this with the world is such a privilege and an honor, and it's something that I can see the benefit of. You know, we have our first published case study of a 12-week curriculum integration and an absolute incredible set of data that has been studied and published. It's all on our website. It's in the case study section. And so I kind of digressed a little bit. The other elements of vitality: nutrition, rest, recovery, and movement. And you need to participate actively in all of these categories in order to charge up your power plant, in order to be as capable as you can be. There is nothing that you can do to offset a shit night of sleep. You can make sure that you're well hydrated, you can train, you can rest, you can manage your cognitive load and effort across the day. But if you do this consistently over time, you're leaving so much on the table. It's like going to a business deal and just putting $1 million cash on the table and just like walking away, you know, giving it up. So you don't want to be doing that. You can't afford to do that, because even if you think you're operating at a high level on 6 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep consistently, the damage you're doing to your body, what you're leaving on the table, is absolutely incredible. And when you start reclaiming that sleep and seeing the impact that it has on your body and mind and your tomorrow and your output, it's an absolute fucking game changer. Now, the 7 to 9 hours is a broad spectrum, and that's the generalization. You might be an anomaly and function on that 6-hour sleep window, but most people are not there. And just because you think you feel good in that 6-hour range, it actually doesn't mean anything. It means your body has adapted to being suboptimal. And that's why you think your state of feeling good is actually feeling good. But you're leaving so much on the table. And the data, especially coming out of Matthew Walker's Sleep Institute, is really clear on this. And it keeps getting clearer and clearer and clearer. There's no study that suggests you should be getting less sleep. And over time, our sleep has gone down over the last 100 years. And it's absolutely incredible. I saw a graph recently that showed this. And sleep is like, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're more susceptible to getting sick. Your mood regulation is going to be different than it is when you have adequate sleep. I mean, you know what it feels like to wake up well rested. Okay, it's not nothing. And I know I spoke about this for like 5 minutes, but it's the most important thing. And if you just do one thing over the next 30 days, get your sleep right, your life will change. End of story, full stop. So vitality, nutrition, rest, recovery, those are two different things. You have rest is like basically sleeping, although it's its own thing. Rest is also engaging in very deliberate practices that are associated with breath work, meditation, sleep, those kinds of modalities. Active recovery is like foam rolling, light mind-body movements, yoga, this kind of thing, depending on the yoga. Obviously, you can be very, very intense yoga. That's not what I'm talking about. Movement is moving your fucking body. Training, minimum 2 times a week for resistance training. Walking, at minimum, 24 minutes a day. Okay, that is the baseline minimum that you should be doing, is 24 minutes a day of walking. It's not much. Not much. You can walk around your house. You can walk around the block. Like it takes nothing just to maintain a certain baseline, right? The minimum standard is so low. So after vitality, and what's important here is in this framework, you stay at every pillar until things stabilize. It's not about perfection, it's about stabilization. And it's creating an opportunity to increase your capacity. That is the main through thread for everything. Doing intentional growth work is metabolically taxing. You got to ensure that you're well fed, you're trained, you're rested, you're optimal. You're using your body as a tool for achieving what you want in life. After vitality, we go into core values. You either choose your values or they're being chosen for you. There's no in between there. You are either consciously choosing the way you navigate life through a set of values that you've gone through a process for which they exist, and it also filters out decision-making, choices, what you're willing to sacrifice for, what you're willing to say no to, yes to, all of it, what you're anchoring your whole philosophy to how you interact with the world. Core values. You're either choosing your values or they're being chosen for you. This is massively important because your values were most likely inherited from the culture that you grew up in, inherited by your parents, inherited by the culture that you are participating in every day, right? Music, poetry, literature, the films, your social group, you know, what fucking clothes you buy. All of it is impacted by a value set that is either chosen or is something that is inherited. Your socioeconomic background, all of these things play a role in your value set. So with that said, we go through a process that is quite intensive, which is why vitality is really training your capacity to handle the cognitive load. And within this values process, you are expected at the end of it to have 3 to 5 values. These are your governing philosophical anchors for life, for the way you process your decisions, your filtering of ideas, how you interact with yourself when no one's watching, how you interact with the world when there's a lot of people watching. This is so vital to knowing what you're willing to effectively die for and what you're effectively live for. And I know that's quite extreme, but in its purest form, that's what a value is. It's not a preference, it's not aspirational, it's embodied. It's something that you are living or doing your best to live by this standard of life. After values, we get into mindset training. Mindset training is more about the relationship you have to discomfort. Mindset training is about the relationship that you have to discomfort. It's, you know what, let me just, can I put this here? Oh, very good. Cool. Mindset training is about the relationship you have to discomfort. You are going to be challenged by resistance. That's just life. Resistance is everywhere. Resistance is the thing that comes up when you are using up all of your motivation and there's still something there that pops into your mind, or like, oh, I'll do this tomorrow, or, you know, maybe I don't actually have to go to the gym. You know, it's like, it's that whiny little bitch inside of all of us that exists. And mindset training is your ability to have anchors on either side of the door that you must go through. You're anchoring yourself on the threshold side with your core values, And you're anchoring yourself on the other side of the threshold through the resistance by the goals, your aligned action, which we'll get to in a moment. It's about capacity, amplifying your capacity to be able to handle resistance, to be able to handle struggle, to be able to handle discomfort, because there is no growth in comfort. Now, we're biologically wired for survival. This has been a very valuable tool, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But it definitely puts up some roadblocks and definitely puts up resistance within itself to actually achieve what it is that you want to achieve in life. And there has been never a situation in which a goal is achieved without some level of going through this threshold, some level of breaking through this resistance, leaning out of comfort and into discomfort. There is no growth in comfort. Full stop. It doesn't exist. What is required of you is awareness, is to understand the moment between thought and action. And in that space is the opportunity to either capitalize on the momentum that you're creating, right? Leveraging inertia, or derailing yourself. And no one's going to do it. You're going to do it. So you might as well become comfortable with the idea that resistance is a tool. It's an indicator of what you should be doing, how you should be focusing your attention, and moving in the direction that you have predetermined is the outcome that you're looking to generate. Mindset is vital in this process because motivation, first of all, motivation is bullshit. Motivation is something that people who, it's like you talk about motivation if you're not grounded. You talk about motivation if things are generally out of alignment. Because when you're aligned, motivation is not even something that you talk about because you don't need motivation because motivation is a construct of procrastination, right? It's like something that people say to do something that they don't want to do. But the reason they don't want to do it is because they're not living in alignment. They're not grounding themselves in their core values. So the choice has already been pre-made for you because you're aligning your actions with your values and you're creating an opportunity for growth. You're leaning into that thing that's difficult. You want it to be difficult because you understand as someone who's capable in their life to be able to achieve what they want out of life, that only happens when you are challenged. It's like, I don't know if you've had friends that were in school that were just extremely smart and school just was super easy for them, you know? What ends up happening is that if they're not adequately challenged, you get bored. And once you're bored, you disconnect, you tune out, and you're in some fucking different land, okay? And you're not actually getting the benefit that the teaching is providing you. But if you're sufficiently challenged, if you're required to live in that state of discomfort, the one where you're feeling like, oh wow, I gotta work for this, you're always gonna be making progress. Too difficult, you get the same result as not challenging enough. And like my wife, for example, she wasn't sufficiently challenged at school. And because of that, she really, to her own introspection was like, well, that was kind of dumb. All I did was party and everything was so easy. And then, but the outcome of her being sufficiently challenged would have most likely yielded in us not meeting. So I'm grateful for her sacrifice. And I'm sure she is too. And I know she is, and our kids as well. But that's kind of the point. Like, if you're looking to create something when you're young, you need to ensure that you're choosing hard fucking shit. You gotta make things difficult for yourself. By making things difficult, you're living into your potential. And if you take the easy way, life is gonna be so much more challenging. You wanna make things as hard as possible, and you wanna fight for the thing that you know is gonna bring you to that other side. After mindset, we go into time management and prioritization. There are so many time management courses out there, like just as many in personal development. It's fucking crazy. And what I don't think they cover enough is prioritization. A priority is less about what comes first and more about what never gets done, right? It's a process to which you filter, again, anchored in your values, the things that are going to get you closest to the destination that you want to create for yourself. And what's the destination? Well, that comes next, aligned goals. But you're not going to align your goals before understanding time management and prioritization. You're not going to do that before you got your mindset dialed in. And you're certainly not going to do that before you're anchoring everything to your values. And you won't be able to do that without the energy to sustain the level of output to which I'm talking about. This is a framework that compounds on itself, and it never ends. That's not true. It ends when you die. That is the ultimate end of growth, right? It's like growth is a never-ending journey, and one day it does when the lights go out. And that's so beautiful and that's so refreshing, because you know there's no right or wrong approach to it. You are moving forward, whether you like it or not, and you want to be in control of that movement. You don't want to react. You don't want to succumb to what other people's expectations are of you, what the social doctrine is prescribing that month or whatever with bullshit trends. And you really want to differentiate your thinking from the herd. And by doing so, you can create whatever you want out of life. After time management and prioritization, we lock into optimization and refinement. This is the magic, the magic pillar, because optimization is something that can get you into some serious trouble, because optimization is somewhat tied to the idea that things are working. And when things are working, we tend to bite off more than we can chew. We're like all about amplification, amplification, amplification. When in reality, a well-oiled optimization protocol is about reduction. Reducing the noise to amplify the efficacy of the thing you're doing. It's not about addition. It's not about adding more complexity to a system. It's about making it simple. And within that simplicity becomes the output that you're looking for. Optimization is what makes this framework so magical, because every moment of every day you're collecting data. Every moment of every day you are constantly collecting data. As basic as the first time that you burned yourself, you're like, well, I'm not fucking doing that again. I picked up a hot pan, I didn't have a towel over my hand, and now my hand is fucked for 2 weeks. I'm not doing that again. Or maybe you went outside wearing t-shirt and shorts, and there's a fucking blizzard, and it's minus 20 degrees Celsius. And you're like, well, maybe next time I'm gonna bring socks and a fucking jacket and a hat and gloves. That's data. That's an experience, cause and effect. You know, it's like action, reaction, input, data, analysis. And then you learn from that. Make as many mistakes as you want. Make them once. And learn from that. That's data. So within this framework, we leverage all of the data that we accumulate through our experience, through our interactions. Some of the data collection is more systematic. For example, in the time management and prioritization pillar, we talk about how to effectively use your calendar as a living document, a journal of sorts, primarily with the action of retroactively filling in what happened. And so I think it's worth talking about this because it's a tool that will provide value to you right now, and that's really what I'm all about. So let's get into it. My calendar is something that I leverage from the moment I wake up to the moment I initiate my evening routine. And it's color-coded from morning to night. Every block of every hour is allocated. And when people hear that, like, what the fuck, dude? You're insane. I'm like, okay, that's fair, but try it for 30 days and see what happens. The insight that you get from it, how you actually allocated your time, not how you wished your time went, but how you actually spent, invested, reclaimed your time, is the outcome of this practice. So I wake up every morning, and the first thing that I do after going to the bathroom is I mark the time that I woke up. And that changes every day. But in my calendar, my grand rising hour-long block is at 7 a.m. It's just like an anchor that's recurring every day. I very rarely wake up at 7 a.m. It's anywhere from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And so I wake up, I mark the note, I just move the beginning of the entry in my calendar. It takes literally 2 seconds to do. And I give myself an hour, but recently I've only been using 15 minutes. And I have a very specific protocol, and I'm very efficient, which includes movement, breath work, making my first coffee, water, vitamins, Silogit. Like, I have like a lot of shit that happens, but I'm also well rested and I'm fucking ready to go when I wake up. So it's because I got my sleep dialed in. It's because I'm optimizing the things around the protocols that I know are going to fuel my tomorrow. And I know because I want to wake up with a fucking hard on, with my heart and mind, my breath connected, to be able to capitalize on the day. Like, I don't have very much time left on earth, and I want to make sure that I leverage it to the fullest. I want to be completely fucking done on my deathbed. And yeah, that's it. So anyways, I compartmentalize everything that I do through a calendar system. Health and wellness is one calendar. My personal shit is another calendar. My content rhythm is a different calendar, et cetera, et cetera. So at the smallest increment, it's 15 minutes. And then it can expand to like 8-hour blocks of time. But the point is to reflect reality, to not wish that something happened the way you wanted it to. Reflect fucking reality. This only works if you're honest with yourself, right? And who the fuck are you lying to anyways? Like, come on. Try this for the next 30 days. Create calendars, as many as you need, and you just want to make them large enough containers to be able to block out your time effectively. And another thing that I think is something to take into consideration is, for example, travel time. So my health and wellness block is 2 hours. It doesn't take me 2 hours to do it. Sometimes it takes me more. But that also includes the time I leave to the time I come back. So I leave my house, go to the gym, come back. It can be 2 hours. I leave my house, go to the gym, and then maybe go to the grocery store. Well, I just stop it at the time that I stop the gym, and then I put grocery from that moment. There's no gaps in my calendar. And then now with the power of AI, Claude, Gemini, fucking OpenAI, whatever, you can link up your Google Calendar, which is the most effective way of doing the analysis, and you can have a conversation with your favorite LLM about how your time went. And it is humbling, it is inspiring, it is a reality check that so many people need. Because what it comes down to is this. You say you have aspirations, you say you have goals, you say you have priorities, you have objectives for the next month. Are you hitting those objectives? Question 1. How do you know if you're hitting them? Question 2. Do you know where your time has been invested? Question 3. Show me your calendar and I'll show you your priorities. You can only do this if you're actively managing your calendar in truth. And so if I wake up at 4:30, I know that I just moved my grand rising block to 4:30 a.m. I don't leave it at 7 because that's not reality. Or if I meant to go to the gym today, but I didn't end up going, I delete the block that says health and wellness gym, and I put whatever the fuck I did during that time. With no shame, with no judgment, with no story attached. You just do the thing. You operate from the perspective of a data analysis project, right? And you do that for a month. And so with the bedtime routine, I just have like 10 to 11 is bedtime. I start my bedtime routine at 10, and that hour I fall asleep anywhere between 10:05, sometimes it's earlier, to 11 is my cutoff. And sometimes that doesn't happen, but it is what it is. It's about long-term consistency. It's about showing up every day and committing to your higher self, committing to your tomorrow. That's what it comes down to. And there's such a disconnect between our current alive now in the moment and our ability to understand that the challenges that we're creating for ourselves tomorrow start in the present moment. We have nothing else than the present moment. And if you know you want to be able to do certain things tomorrow or in 3 weeks, you have to know that your actions today are the catalyst for how that's going to happen for you then. So it's a practice that I highly encourage you to try. It's one that will take a little bit of setup, maybe a half an hour, honestly. It's so easy. You use a digital calendar, Apple Calendar, Google Calendar, Notion Calendar, whatever the fuck you want. You can even write it out, but it just makes it a little bit more difficult to, let's say retroactively move blocks around and, I would advocate for a digital calendar. Plus it's on your phone and it's just easy to navigate and move around. You don't have to get super crazy anal about it. You can start just with like 30-minute blocks. What do you do for the last half hour? You just fill it in. My bedtime routine starts at 10. Yours could start at 2 a.m. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It is more about reflecting reality than anything else. And then after 30 days, check it out. Go look at what the output was of your 30 days. And you're like, oh, fuck. I wanted to prioritize spending time with my family, but I only spent 10 hours doing that. Oh. Don't make a story about it. Just fucking use it as information to take and plan your next 30 days with it. Really understand that all of your dreams are tied to your focus. Where attention goes, energy flows, right? Getting an honest representation of how you invest your time is the only way to get clarity on why you're falling short or why you were able to do something that you didn't think was possible. It goes either way. And on this, just because I think it's such an important topic, I want to talk about one more tool that I think you'll find to be incredibly powerful. So if you take out a piece of paper and draw a quadrant, 4 quadrants, like an X, okay? Quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's like an X. You write health, work, social, and family in each quadrant. You can use whatever words you want to articulate the high-level meaning that I just laid out. Then imagine you have buckets and you're filling up these buckets with water or wine, whatever. I don't know wine, just having fun. So what do you think happens when you're at a 10? That's full. You're overflowing. Now consider this the framework for a balanced life. If everything is at a 5, what do you think your output quality is? It's kind of mediocre, right? It's shit. Your health is shit, your relationships are shit, your work is shit, your family time is shit. Because you're running at every level, you're running it at the same level for every quadrant. that's going to generate a mediocre output at best. If everything is at a 10, you're fucking burning out now. There's no room for literally anything. You're like, I'm running myself into the ground. And that's what a balanced life looks like. You're at a 7 all around, you're at a 10 all around, you're at a 5 all around, you're at a 2 all around. Either way, it's fucking mediocre. We're about creating that special moment for you to live into to create greatness, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's just to be more calm. Maybe you want to achieve certain metrics in your business, in your personal life, in your health, whatever. So I advocate for strategic imbalance, right? You're consciously choosing where you're investing your time, energy, and resources. You can't be at a 10 and expect everything to go well. That's just not sustainable. Life is not a sprint. It's a fucking long distance ultra marathon here. And so when you're strategically imbalanced, you're really intentional about where your time, your money, your resources, your energy, your relationships are going. Certain seasons of life require your work to be at a 10 and social commitments to be at a 0 or a 1. I really advocate, and I strongly advocate for health and wellness to be at a 7 at the minimum. You should always prioritize that because it is literally the thing that regulates everything else. If you're exhausted all the time, you're not living up to your potential. If you're sitting all the time, you're not living up to your potential. If you're overweight, you're not living up to your potential. If you're undernourished, you're not living up to your potential. You're leaving just so much on the table. So with that in mind, look at considering your next 30 days, leveraging the calendar system with this idea of structural imbalance. Choose where you're focusing your priorities, your time, your effort, your resources this month, this next 30 days. You can break it down by week. You have 4 weeks to figure out, like, I'm in a season of decompression and relax. So work should be at like a 0 or a 1. Health should be at a 10. Family should be as close to 10 as possible. Social, as close to 10 as possible, right? But if everything is at a 10 all the time, it's mediocre. If everything's at a 7 all the time, it's mediocre. And you're better than that. You have ambition. You know what you want out of life, but you're not going to get it through a balanced lifestyle, right? That's more about reaction than leading, than guiding, than shaping. Create that awareness, create that abundance through allocation of time, effort, and energy. Like, you're on vacation. Do you think it's appropriate to have work at a 10 and social or family at a 5? No. Just like if it's a work fucking season, you know, social's gonna have to take a hit, you know? Family's gonna have to take a hit. Otherwise, you don't have the capacity to actually live up to the best part of what you have. That's okay. You have permission to do that. Maybe family is the most important thing to you, so you always prioritize that. But you can't have family at a 10, you can't look after yourself and work and have all kinds of social engagements and expect that your quality of mind is going to be the same as if you're intentional about, I'm saying no to these social events because I'm prioritizing my family. I'm saying no to these social events because I'm prioritizing my health, which in turn help me become a better person to be able to be more grounded, more calm when I'm with my family. And because I'm with my family and because I'm investing in myself, because I have the energy and the capacity, my work performance has gone up. But that's because I'm choosing not to be social as much as I could create the space for it, because I know that's going to deplete me. It's a constant re-evaluation of what you have going on, and it can be broken down into a day. Today is a high output day. Today I have no space for social. Today I have no space for health. Today I have no space for family because work is requiring that. But then tomorrow I have to prioritize my health and I want to prioritize my family, but social is still at a 0. That's how you live life on your terms. That's how you live life with a high degree of output and efficacy, with creating that momentum that you have within you so that you can work towards your goals and achieve them and feel fucking good about it. So you can own that shit, not just in reaction, but really leading and guiding and shaping. So I know this was about commencement, but that's the 8th and final pillar. And I'll just say this: commencement is about a new beginning. It's about integration. It's about living to the highest standard that you have created for yourself through a framework that has proven time and time again to close the gap from where you were to where you look to go. And the process is something that you repeat over and over and over again. Any good framework is worth preserving. And you refine and you tweak and you pull and you tug and you massage things into reality. The framework itself is the thing that you can live inside. It's the container that you leverage to live life on your terms, not on anyone else's, through your values, through your mindset, through your understanding of time, how to align your goals to your values so that they actually enrich your life. Right? So you feel a sense of deep meaning and purpose. It's easy to say no. It's easy to say yes. You're choosing that dynamic range of life, that exuberant life force that is within all of us. We've just been so dumbed down. We've been so suppressed through technology, through social expectation, through structures that were never ours to live inside. This system exists for you to take advantage of. And you should do that by joining us every Thursday where we talk about our curriculum, where we talk about the process of leveraging this curriculum and turning it into embodied and lived. Every Thursday we go live on the platform. You can click the link. It's the first link. Sign up to Everyday Action. You get access to our weekly group coaching at no cost. You get instant access by clicking the link. Drop your name and email. You get a coached 90-day email series right into your inbox. I come out the gate heavy. 2 emails a day for the first 7 days, and then it's 1 every 3 days. You get 10 steps to everyday action, a full ebook that keeps you grounded. It's something that you can use as a practical tool. It's not overwhelming. It's designed to be leveraged in the moment. Take action. Because if you don't take action, all of this was for nothing. You're not going to do it. You know, be honest with yourself. The growth that you're looking for happens in community. It happens by taking action. It happens by picking up the phone and calling the person you've been avoiding. It happens by opening up that envelope that's been sitting on your desk for 3 weeks. Playing that story that's been rolling in your head. This system is designed to support real life with kids. Take action. Click the link, join Everyday Action. Like this YouTube video, pick up the phone, send the text, do something. Because if you don't take action right now, you won't do it. And you'll be in exactly the same place that you are now tomorrow. Except a little bit older, a little bit fatter, a little bit sadder. I don't know how else to say it. The business is literally called Everyday Action for a reason, okay? Take fucking action. Get the data, get feedback, refine, optimize. You'll know. It's better to take action down the wrong path and get data than to have never taken action at all. Because then you'll know. You'll know what the outcome of that path is. Now the framework solves so much of the guessing, But it's still up to you to take action. It's still up to you to click the link in the description. Join us live every Thursday. Sometimes there's only 2 people in the room, me and someone else. That's a fucking 1-hour coaching session, one-on-one, essentially at no cost for you. Take action. You have everything to gain and everything to lose at the same time. On that note, take fucking action. We'll see you on Thursday. We'll see you every Friday. Thanks so much for dropping in. Please like, subscribe if you found value in this. The best thing you can do for yourself, if you've been here through this entire conversation, is click the link. Click the link, join us inside Everyday Action. You'll start getting the emails. You get access to 2 of the foundational pillars. Awareness and vitality. So I completely forgot to even mention that. 2 full courses, 44 lessons. It's the starting point, all at no cost, instant access. Just put your name and email in that form and get on your growth journey. Because if you don't do it, you never will, and you'll be in exactly the same place you are today, tomorrow. Peace out, take action, see you on the inside.